Well, good morning, everyone. Let's jump right into John chapter number 9 for our Sunday morning recap. And wow, yesterday was an incredible day. It's really been an incredible week at the journey, but we just need to recap Sunday morning, this past Sunday morning. And so we were in the book of John, chapter number 9. And I'm just going to zero in on a couple of verses. It's really the whole chapter. So if you have time and you can break away, look at the entire chapter. There's so much here. But we'll look at verses 6 and 7, and then also verse number 25. And this is the sequence where, I don't know if you remember that every Sunday morning we're talking about our encounters with Jesus. And people that encountered Jesus, their lives were changed. They were changed dramatically and they were changed permanently. And so I wanted to just really highlight this one, because what it really came down to is this man was blind, but now he sees, not just physically, but he sees Jesus for who he is. He's eternally changed. And so this is really, let me just say this, what an encounter with Jesus. The blind man didn't even realize Jesus was passing by, but Jesus saw him and would go on to heal him. I mean, think about how many times something incredible is just passed right by us, but for whatever reason, we were so engrossed in what we were doing that we think would make us happy. And that God was saying, no, I could do this for you if you just let me do it. And we didn't even know it was there. Well, in this particular case, this blind man is just doing what he always does. He was probably begging. That's what they usually found him doing. And yet, this time Jesus points him out and deals with some issues. But then in verse number 6 and 7, look what he says here. He says, and when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay and said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed and came back seeing. And so what a powerful encounter with Jesus. Think about this. I think that sometimes we pray and we say, God, give me what I want. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait until you give me what I want. And we don't mean it in a mean-spirited way, but we assume that all I can do is ask, and then I'm just going to wait here until it comes. But Jesus told this blind man that he had to walk a little bit further in blindness into obedience, and then in obedience, healing would come. And I think that's why so many people don't ever get healed, is that there's this little obedience. Think about it. It's just down the road. I make a left-hand turn and then a right-hand turn down 3 steps, and there you are. For a blind man, very, very complicated, very treacherous, very difficult. He could get lost. But Jesus said, if you'll trust me just a little bit longer in your blindness and do what I ask you to do, things are going to change for you. And they did. He goes down there and he washes. And like I said on Sunday morning, I don't know what he saw, but because I don't even know what people born blind actually visualize at all, because they don't have that visual part. And so as the water is washing over his eyes and the mud is washing away, the lights, the shapes, the majesty of what we can see in creation flooded in. And you know what? I don't think he comes walking back casually. I think he comes running back screaming that he could see. And people were moved by that because he encountered Jesus. He obeyed Jesus, and then he received from Jesus. But not just that, later on, Jesus will come find him and let him know that there's more to life than being able to physically see. There's the spiritual part that needs to be dealt with. You need to put your trust and faith in Jesus so you can see eternally. This physical healing was leading to a very special time of spiritual healing. And so we drop all the way down to verse number 25, and he rehearses this to those people who claim to be the ones that could see, the religious. And this is where he gets himself into trouble and gets excommunicated. But in verse number 25, he says something amazing. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. And so he testifies that Jesus has the power over disease. He has the power over the circumstances of birth defect. In fact, this vision wasn't restoration from an injury. This was creation of new eyes that had the potential of seeing. He could see now. And so what a beautiful thing. Let your encounter with Jesus change your life spiritually. Obey him. Do what he asks you to do so that he can flood into your life all the things that are necessary to please him and that will fulfill you. I hope that helps. Have a wonderful day.